What is going on, guys and girls? It's GhostRobo, and what you just saw was the first sort of real trailer for Dark Souls 2. There was one previously, but it was more a hype teaser than an actual trailer. And this was released alongside a 12-minute gameplay demo that was exclusive to IGN. But I did watch that, and what I saw there was some distinct improvements over Dark Souls 1. But they haven't really shown their full hand, I don't think, yet, if there is a full hand to be shown. The big worry is that this would just be sort of a cash-in, a pseudo-sequel that they kind of try to rush out on the current gens, because that's what it's currently slated for, whether that ends up being a cross-gen game or really a PlayStation 4, Xbox 720 game, who knows. But what they did show was a much-improved graphical engine. Things look a lot crisper, a lot smoother. You can definitely see it in this trailer, and it was very apparent in the gameplay demo. There is a lot more going on in the environments. There's one part where you're walking across a bridge, and there's a lot of wyverns and dragons and things just flying overhead, and the whole screen is cluttered with enemies. In some of the indoor areas that they showed, the lighting looked better. There were more fire effects and just things playing with lighting and playing with environments to make it seem a little bit more high-tech, a little bit more up-to-date. I never really thought that graphics hindered Dark Souls 1. I never had that as a complaint or like a, gosh, this would be better. So I'm a little surprised that they decided to focus on that as sort of their main push, their main point for this game. I would have liked to see maybe more discussion on an open world, or maybe more discussion on whatnot, but perhaps this really is just a new map for Dark Souls 2. I don't know. They haven't really talked much about that. Some of these reveal cycles, especially with more Japanese-based games, are a little bit strange, and I don't know if we'll know the true picture for quite a while. They did show also some new interactions with enemies. Now enemies can bust through walls. Now enemies are supposedly more reactive. There was one guy who was a big armored troll-type creature, and if you attacked him from behind, he would fall backwards and smush you, effectively eliminating your backwards advantage. I don't know how reactive they're going to be. You know, they obviously plan to show exactly what they want to show, to convey exactly what they wanted to convey. So are there enemies that actually react to you, or do they just have double scripts now? So if player character is behind, they'll fall backwards. If player character is in front, they will strike forward. Either way, it's kind of cool to see the enemies becoming more evolved and more advanced. There also was a Cyclops that broke through a wall. You sort of shot him and aggravated his senses, and then he busted through the wall, I guess revealing some of the environmental destruction. I was a little bit shocked and kind of bummed by what they decided to focus on. The last thing was deaths, and that you can die now by falling off places, which I thought was a thing before. There was a chariot that ran the player over. There was, again, the bridge with the dragons that collapsed underneath your feet. These are things I all remember happening in Dark Souls 1, if I'm not crazy. Falling off bridges, getting killed by multiple enemies, knocked off the side of a ledge. Perhaps I'm missing something, but I was a little bit disappointed by what they decided to focus their big reveal on. You'd think if you're going to give 12 minutes of gameplay, you'd run a really bring the heat with something epic and cool, or maybe show a crazy new style of boss or a crazy new style of exploration. And frankly, it looked like Dark Souls 1.5, at least what we've seen so far. Upgraded graphics seems to be a typical increase for most sequels, and then now some new AI behaviors. The environments are supposedly more involved as well. They have these, I don't remember exactly what they're called, I want to say magic mouths, where you stuck these stones inside and activated some environmental effect, but basically that boils down to just a lever that's activating the environment. So I have great hopes for Dark Souls 2. I think it looks gorgeous, don't get me wrong. I think this game looks really, really pretty, and if it's nothing more than a souped-up, more perfected version of Dark Souls 1, great. I would love to play that game. I'd love to play it right now. I think the screenshots look awesome. I really, even though visuals weren't something that I was, I thought was wrong with Dark Souls 1, I will gladly accept a more lifelike, better lit environment for Dark Souls 2. I just was a little hoping for something new, something really extra cool, extra like wow factor, and they didn't really give it to me. I know that Dark Souls is much more about the experience, not about some silly set piece, but yet for this sequel and for some of the things that the initial reveal teaser kind of insinuated about maybe more of a story, maybe more of an open world, we get no sense of that in that gameplay demo or in this trailer. It seems like a lot more of the same, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I just was very excited for this reveal and very excited to see something new, and basically they strangely decided to focus on death animations, enemy animations, and better graphics. And they said that better graphics would make the player feel more into it, be more engaged. I don't know how true that is. They also said there's a focus on creating more tension and having environments where you aren't attacked, so you're more surprised by attacks, you're more concerned, constantly tense. Again, these are things that I thought Dark Souls 1 did really good, so why they're recycling themes, I don't really know. Maybe they're different and they just didn't explain them very well. Maybe this was just a very early vertical slice of the game that they didn't have anything else to show. Maybe, the sky's the limit with possibilities for what happened. I just wish we would have seen more. That noted, I am still very excited for Dark Souls 2. Cannot wait to see more. I believe it's coming out next year. I would love to see them push it up towards this year, but I believe it was announced for 2014, so we shall see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're excited for Dark Souls 2, let me know in the comments below, and with a thumbs up, like button, click. It was one of the games that really is kind of a cornerstone of the GhostRobo army, so I'm excited to see much more info on the sequel and share it with you guys. Until that time, though, guys and girls, have a fantastic day. Once again, drink some hot chocolate, and we will see you all later.